I'm the parlor maid.
Oh, you're the new maid, I see.
Oh. You thought I was somebody else, didn't you? I'm sorry. Have I done something wrong?
No. If anyone's been wrong, it's us.
Nobody's done anything wrong. We've enjoyed seeing you, and we hope you'll be happy here and stay a long time.
Thank you.
Sirit, this is Cluny Brown, the new maid. Now sit down, my dear, and finish your tea. Sit down, my dear. And when you've finished, Sirit will take you to Mrs. Maley, the housekeeper.
Very good, milady.
Well, Alice, I'd better get at that letter.
They're so nice, aren't they? I'm finished.
Follow me, Brown.
Brown? Everybody calls me Cluny.
You'll be called Brown here.
Maybe she got onto the wrong train, Mrs. Maley. Maybe she ran off with an handsome stranger.
That would be enough, Weller.
Things like that have happened before and might happen again.
Mrs. Brown, Mrs. Maley. Mrs. Maley, the housekeeper.
Where have you been, Brown?
Having tea with Sir Henry and her ladyship.
What?
It seems...
Well, it wasn't my fault, really.
Mr. Siddle will give me the necessary information later, if you'll be so kind.
With pleasure, Mrs. Maley.
Thank you, Mr.
Not
Siddle.
at all.
Now then, take off your hat, please. I'm afraid you'll have to do something about your hair.
Shall I leave, Mrs. Maley?
Please don't, Mr. Siddle. I'd appreciate your opinion in the matter.
Then may I say I agree with you completely, Mrs. Maley?
I knew you would, Mr. Siddle. Your appearance is part of your work.
Precisely.
I understand this is your first place?
Yes.
I see. We must begin at the beginning. You say ma'am to me and sir to Mr. Siddle.
And her ladyship to her ladyship.
You will perhaps never see her ladyship or Sir Henry, but if by chance you should find yourself in the same room with them, you will not be in the room. You will see and not see. You will hear and not hear. And should her ladyship happen to address you, which I very much doubt, but if she should, you will answer yes, milady, or no, milady, depending on the circumstances. However, these things will come to you more easily when you've put on your uniform.
I couldn't have stated it better myself, Mrs. Maley.
Thank you, Mr. Siddle. And now, Brown, Weller will show you to your room. But before you go, if I haven't made myself quite clear...
Oh, you've made yourself quite clear. I understand perfectly. For instance, if I feel like... What was it the gentleman said? Oh, yes. If I feel like feeding squirrels to the nuts, this isn't the place for it.
The professor will be down immediately.
I say, Sirit, what's the fellow's name again?
It is hard to remember. So many foreigners do have foreign names, don't they?
May I make a suggestion, sir?
Go ahead.
Think of the fur, Kolinsky.
Oh, Kolinsky.
And now, substitute B for coal. Bielinski for Kolinsky, and you have it, sir.
I remember that. What's the name of that fur again?
Professor Belinsky.
Ah, Professor, how nice to see you.
You're very kind, Lady Carmel. How do you do, sir?
How do you do? Have a glass of sherry, old man.
Professor, you're most welcome here for as long as you care to stay.
How very hospitable you are. But I don't feel I should accept before you know more about me.
Andrew has told us all about you.
And about this Nazi business. You don't have to worry with Constable Birkins around. Great man for warding things off, Birkins.
Oh, I have the utmost confidence in Constable Birkins. But after all, the Nazis are across the channel. However, what worries me is right here with us. I have no dinner jacket.
Dinner is served, milady.
Sir Henry, I couldn't bear to face you in a lounge suit across the dinner table.
Well, wore a lounge suit myself once at dinner in Naples. Went slumming, didn't want to shock the natives.
Oh, shall we go in? Andrew will lend you a dinner jacket, Professor. He has two. It doesn't matter tonight, but as a favor, if... Oh, it's not really important. But you see, my husband likes me to dress for dinner. But if you didn't dress, he couldn't. And if he couldn't, then of course I wouldn't.
How simple and charming you make everything. May I say something?
Oh, please.
Go ahead, Belinsky.
This royal throne of kings, this sceptred isle, this other Eden, demi-paradise, this land of such dear souls, this dear, dear land, this blessed plot, this earth, this realm, this England. To Shakespeare.
How well you speak English, Professor.
Rolls right out of him.
English is the universal tongue.
That's what I call clear thinking. As a young man, my dear parents sent me on a tour around the world. I left speaking English, came back speaking English, never spoke a word of anything else the whole time.
English is my husband's hobby. Yes, my husband enjoyed traveling.
You know I didn't, darling. I went to St. Petersburg and saw the Tsar. I went to Constantinople and saw the Sultan. And when I got home, I took a good look at the first London bobby I saw and thanked my stars. If a man has a home, he should stick to it.
Now, I'm a natural cosmopolitan. If one never gets out of one's own country, one becomes quite pot-bound. Personally, I should like to spend several months abroad.
What?
Don't take that piece, sir. This one on the right. Much better.
What?
It hasn't so much fat. And it's browner and bigger. You won't regret it, sir. Nuts to the squirrels!
I'm very sorry, milady.
Outrageous, preposterous, strikes me speechless. A maid choosing my mutton for me.
She will be dismissed immediately, sir.
Oh, one moment, Sir Henry. You took the piece she suggested. May I ask you why?
Because the other piece had a blob of fat on it.
And this one is browner, leaner, and bigger. And you liked it better.
And hang it all, it's just not done.
What a pity. It should have been done long ago. Does it occur to you that for generations, the lords of Carmel have probably eaten the wrong piece of mutton?
That's a very interesting way of looking at it. Besides, it's so difficult to get domestics to come to the country nowadays.
Well, she needn't have dropped the platter and insulted my friend. What was it she said to you?
I remember very well, sir. It was, if I may take the liberty of repeating it, nuts to the squirrels.
Doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. It should be squirrels to the nuts. But I have an open mind. And if someone says to me, nuts to the squirrels, I accept it. You may be inclined to say that to me yourself someday when you know me better. And I'm not so sure that you will include the squirrels.
That's much too deep for me, Belinsky.
If I may say so, milady, the sooner the young woman is dismissed, the better.
Oh, please, Monsieur Siret. I know that in the policies of the kitchen, the balance of power rests with you. I also know that as a guardian of English customs and traditions, this young woman has offended your sensibilities. But permit me to quote someone to whom everything English was also dear. The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as a gentle rain from heaven. To Shakespeare.